So you mustn't kill yourself to go to school. The essence of school is not certificate. People use certificate to cover their stupidity.
Pax Christi, Nigerian Catholics. Father John Oloma is basically pointing out something that a lot of us probably know already, but are not courageous enough to say. And hopefully we can be able to glean one or two things from some of his observations drawn from the lessons of the Epiphany, that is the Magi who visited Jesus at the time of his birth.
Was that keeping it simple and short? You kiss it. Keep it simple and short. All this boo-boo about this, about that. Wisdom makes you to know what's the right thing to do, to guide you, follow the right path. So you don't follow the crowd, so to say. So they are called wise men. 3 things I want to give today that made them wise and that can make us wise. Number 1 is education. Everybody say education. They had education. They were educated. They are actually called astrologers or astronomers. Who are the astrologers, astronomers? They are people who study the stars and celestial bodies. They are not magicians, so this is not magic. In today's they are called astrophysicists. They study space, the stars, planetary bodies, and all of that. That America and some world powers are colonizing and determining what is happening. It's because of their technological powers. America is up there in the air. They can snap us now and tell you what you are doing here. That's the power of education. So they studied the stars. And from studying the stars, they could know when something strange or spectacular is happening. Those days before GPS and compass came out, men were sellers were people who use ship, right? Do you know how they knew where they were going? It is by using the stars. So they were educated to find their way through following the stars, the sun, the moon, and all of that. That's education, learning something you don't know. The dictionary actually defines education as systematic learning, especially in schools and universities. When it says especially in schools and universities, it means that it is not only in school that you learn. So when I say education, your mind shouldn't go to only school. Nursery, primary, secondary, university. No. School is good, but it's not the only way you learn. It's not the only way you get educated. It's not the only way you get educated. We seem to think that only those who are educated are those who went to school. No. Once you learn something and you are good in it, actually what school even helps you to do is to specialize in something. Right? Once you learn something you specialize in, be so good in it. They were so good in reading the stars that they could know when something unusual has happened. That's how they got to know that there is something happening in Israel. Be so good in that particular area that when you are needed, or when something is needed there, they will call you. That's what education is. You specialize and be good in something. Before the white men came, our forefathers, some people think that they were not educated because they did not go to school. That's nonsense. Farmers, how did they know when to plant? When to harvest? Is that not education? That's education. Hunters, how did they know how to hunt, with what to hunt? That's education. We have midwives, those who help women to deliver in their own level. Yes, of course, medical science came and increased the proficiency. How did they know? That's education. So education does not necessarily mean going to school. If you can afford to go to school, go to school. But the problem is that you can go to school and still not be educated. Or the education is supposed to make you wise actually. But some people go to school and they come out more foolish than they were. In fact, actually, scientists are actually proposing that sometimes school system kills your ability to be creative and to be ingenious. Yes, school system can do that. So that's why the emphasis is no longer too much on education. If you can make hair and make it so nice, and you are using it to pay bills and put food on your table, that is what? That's education. You are educated. You didn't learn that in the university. A small boy who is an apprentice in a mechanic workshop, learning how to repair car. In some years, he's settled. He's repairing cars, making money, and all of that. What do you call that? That's education. But illiterate who went to school, we call him illiterate because he did not go to school. It's an illiterate who went to university that will become a mechanic who did not go to school, but who has workshop, has people working under him, probably even richer than that university graduate, but you are calling him illiterate because he did not go to school. You are an educated illiterate. You are an educated illiterate. We have many educated illiterates. I don't want to call them fools because the opposite of wise is what? Fool. Education is supposed to make you wise. Supposed to make you wise. And of course, the celebrated case of the Igbo apprenticeship, Nwa boy. Something that is on international. Nwa boy has produced more millionaires than any educational system has done. But those who did Nwa boy, they didn't go to school. But they do business more than those who study business administration in the university. And then you will now come and say he's an illiterate. He didn't go to school. You see, you are fooling yourself. Praise God. Praise God. So you can get education from anywhere, whether from school or from home or from somebody who knows that particular art. So you mustn't kill yourself to go to school. Go to school if you can. But when going to school, make sure that you're coming out of that school wise. The essence of school is not certificate. People use certificate to cover their stupidity. In fact, certificate is what they give you in school to cover your stupidity after how many years in the university. And like I said, sometimes the school system destroys your natural capacity to be a genius, to be creative, yes. So you don't force people. That's why going to school now is no longer a do or die affair. Don't make it a do or die affair. This funny story from Bishop Kuka. He said one man visited his friend and saw the daughter at home. And he said, what's your daughter doing at home? Her mates are in school. And the man said, well, what is she going to school for? Very soon now she will marry and start taking care of her home. Moreover, she can learn a handwork. The man said, no. Don't do that. Send her to school. She needs to go to school. The man said, what? His friend insisted. Okay, so this man sent the daughter. The friend said, even if it's diploma, let her go and get a diploma certificate. So the man yielded, sent the girl to school. After about 3 years, this is friend who convinced him came back to visit the man. So as they were eating and sharing, a little boy of about 1 year crawled into the sitting room and all of that. No, a boy of about 2-3 years came into the room and the man now said, hey, diploma, where is your mom? So the friend was surprised. What kind of name is that? Why are you calling him diploma? The friend said, well, remember when you convinced me to send my daughter to go to school and get a diploma certificate? The friend said, yes. He said, well, that is the diploma. He said, that is diploma she brought back. Glory to Jesus. Everybody must not go to school, but everybody can be educated. Everybody must not go to school, but everybody can be educated. Whether it's hair barbing you can do, or building or something, just get an education in an area. They were educated. And they didn't go to, I'm not sure they went to a formal school. Those days, education was more like personal thing and then mentorship. You just get yourself attached to somebody who knows that area. So they were astrologers, astronomers. That's their area of specialization. Get an education, whether it's in the primary school or in the secondary school or into the university. Or you are getting it from somebody who has an experience in that area. Just remember that your education should make you what? Wise. Wise enough to deal with the issues of life. Wise enough to know where you are going, how to get there. Wise enough to make you live life. That is the importance of education. It's not certificate. It's not certificate. Don't go to school because you want to be hailed as someone who has graduated and you have this 2-1 or 2-2. That's not the importance of education. It's how wise you become at dealing with life and carving out a life for yourself with whatever education you get. So whether you want to get it from school, you want to get it informally, I don't mind. Just get an education. Let me tell somebody, get an education.
Today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
All right, so someone once said that this statement that Donald Trump made here almost resembles what another president did in his own inauguration.
The flesh substance is gone.
But jokes aside, okay, it's no longer news that Donald Trump is now the 47th president of the United States of America. And yeah, I am not here to start talking about some of the things he said. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been excited and at the same time pretty scared, especially the part that concerns immigration. I guess what Donald Trump has set out to do is basically undoing some of the things, or well, most of the things, that the former administration of President Joe Biden had initiated in the United States of America, especially this whole idea of gender identification and all whatnot. And for the benefit of some of us who may not really understand, this is the picture of what formerly people were asked to fill in their, I mean, it is pretty unheard of, pretty ridiculous. Some of these things I don't even know what they mean. I mean, A gender, B gender, C is gender man, C is gender woman, gender fluid, gender not listed. What? What? I mean, hello. Okay. Anyway, 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 I'm not here to discuss that. So let's move on. So on the 23rd of January 2025, President Donald Trump issued pardons for 23 pro-life advocates who had been prosecuted under the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entries FACE Act during the Biden administration. Among those pardoned was Catholic priest Father Fidelis Moscinski. Okay, the FACE Act, enacted in 1994, prohibits obstructing access to reproductive health services. The Biden Department of Justice had utilized this law to prosecute individuals involved in anti-abortion protests, leading to convictions and, in some cases, imprisonment. Legal advocacy groups such as the Thomas More Society had submitted formal pardon petitions on behalf of 21 pro-life advocates, including Father Moscinski, urging the president to grant them full and unconditional pardons. President Trump's decision to pardon these individuals was announced just before the annual March for Life event in Washington, D.C., where anti-abortion activities gather to advocate against abortion rights. The pardons have been met with mixed reactions. Supporters, including Senator Josh Hawley, praised the move, viewing it as a correction of what they perceived as unjust persecutions. Critics, however, argue that the pardons undermine the rule of law and could embody future unlawful protests. So for those of us who are wondering who this father is, this is basically a picture of him. I do not want to play the video because, well, I might be penalized by YouTube. But basically, he was arrested sometime during the administration of Joe Biden for basically advocating for the right of unborn babies to live. Okay, and as we all know, as Catholics, the church teaches against abortion, basically. Okay, so the long and short of all of this is that Donald Trump has pardoned this man, so he is no longer going to be incarcerated. He has regained his freedom. He was arrested because of his pro-life activity. So we thank God that Father Fidelis has been released, and we hail his courage, because it's not easy, okay, to stand up for what you believe in. And Father Fidelis did it. He was courageous despite the fact that he was arrested and all of that. He stood his ground, and we want to celebrate not just him but Catholic priests, missionaries, every single Catholic who has stood up for the teachings of the church, okay, despite whatever the governments of the day might have said against it. Alright? At the end of the day, the gates of hell shall not prevail. Alright, so this is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you soon.